So here's where we are, people. Here is where we are. Trump news, viral news source. Let's
And now,
go.
just a few short years later, it seems like all of those resources have dried up. The support's no longer there. We had an expansion plan about 6 years ago that we had to pause because we have to wait for our customers now to catch up with the inflation, the supply chain issues still, because we as a small business, we can't double our price points, although the cost of doing
Yeah,
business now is 2, 3, or 4 times what it was just a few years ago. So we've had to get creative.
it's ridiculous, people. And I have experienced the pain of this inflation at the grocery store, at the gas pump, even on Amazon. I can see the pain, baby. Let's go.
Another local dry cleaner here in West Palm, they were asking advice. So husband and wife been there for about 35 years. Their lease was up and the landlord was doubling their rent, which would have meant that that's what they've been paying themselves for probably the better part of 20 years. So they had to make a decision. Do they hand the keys back or do we get creative, work together?
Trump looks like he is ready for the war. Got the red power tie on, and look at the way he's looking like a warrior.
Business by strategically partnering. And by the end of summer, I think I was contacted by about 12 other local dry cleaners saying, can you guys help us also? Because we're going through the same thing. Thank you. And it seems now, so the delta between the reality of what inflation is right now and we have in front of us, the reality of that and the small business owners' capabilities, that delta is too great. So unless we affect change immediately, I fear that in the next few years,
This inflation was so bad, the only business that I could think of starting was one on the internet, like YouTube, which required no dollars upfront investment. Okay? It just required my time. And that's where I think a lot of American people are at, but I don't want to interrupt you guys. Let's listen.
China virus. And we helped a lot of people, and we did it intelligently. Then, when they took over, they just threw money around like it was dirt. And as you
Yeah.
know, the recent monster hurricane, Helene, just wiped out so much. If you look at the different states, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, it was just devastating, devastating.
Yes.
And the response was the worst since Katrina, but really, a lot of people think it was much worse than Katrina. It's still they haven't shown up. They're not in North. They're not in North Carolina. The people of North Carolina have suffered incredibly, and it's just nobody to help them. FEMA has been a total disaster. We had FEMA that was fantastic when we did this because
Okay.
we had our hurricanes too. We had some bad ones, but we did a great job with it. It's not there, and then you see that they originally blamed and then they tried to take it back, but it was a little late. But they said that the money was spent on bringing illegal migrants into our country. They spent close to $1 billion, and these were funds that were spent. And you have to say, I mean, I was in North Carolina recently, and I looked at devastation that was just it was just unbelievable. There was nobody there from the federal government. The local people have done incredible things. Franklin Graham has done incredible things. He's been amazing. But there was nobody there. So we're pleased also to be joined by Christy Shamblin, person I know and I've gotten to know over the last year or so, the mother-in-law of fallen Marine Corps Sergeant Nicole G. Nicole made the ultimate sacrifice during the disastrous withdrawal. Not that we were withdrawing. I was going to withdraw, but we were withdrawing with dignity and strength and power, and we were going to keep Bagram, the big air base, because of the fact that it was so close to where China makes their nuclear weapons, 1 hour away. We should have kept it, and we didn't do that. But the way they withdrew, they took the soldiers out first. No, you take the soldiers out last. I went 18 months without one soldier. I spoke to
Look at
Abdullah, the
her.
leader of the Taliban. We
What
went
a
18
body on
months without
stage.
one soldier even being shot at, no
Tattoos.
soldier being killed for 18 months.
I mean, but you know what? It's all good, right? We're all humans, but yeah, that's a why is she on stage? But I didn't get this whole Trump presentation. It came in midstream while it was live, so that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. But let's continue. I just think that's yeah, what a body right there. Okay.
13 U.S. service members who lost their lives. Kamala said she was the last person in the room, that Kamala was the last person in the room. She was involved in everything. She takes credit for that. She was involved in everything. That means she was involved in disaster after disaster, because nothing good has happened with this administration, except that our country has gone to almost a third world status. With Biden, when Biden made a decision, she said she was there. Oh, she was there. But the Afghanistan decision was a disaster in so many different ways. And now you take a look at it, they're right back to what they were
Yeah,
doing
baby.
before,
Well,
except
how are you? Okay.
much worse to women. They're worse to women right now than they were even before it
Hey,
started.
can you bring some more
Kamala
Coke
never
Zero?
reached out to the family members of the
It's
warriors.
I drank it already.
And she
Sorry.
said she was
It
going
wasn't it
to,
wasn't
but she
much.
never did. She never called anybody. And Christy, I'd like you to come up and say a
Oh,
few words,
okay.
please.
Okay. Where are you at? Are you close? What you doing over there?
Good afternoon, good morning.
Okay.
My name is Christy Shamblin, and my daughter-in-law was Sergeant Nicole Leanne G. When
Okay,
she was
baby.
killed in the
All
botched
right, do your thing.
Afghanistan
I'll
exit at Abbey Gate, she was the cornerstone of a very large
okay.
family. And instead of planning family gatherings,
Well, this is not necessarily
holiday
my
meals,
work phone. Like this
Christmases,
is. I mean.
and baby showers,
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
our
let me.
family
I'll
and
change
thousands
that.
of
I'm
other
sorry.
families plan outings at funeral grave
Okay, I
sites,
love you,
and
baby.
that
I
is
miss you.
where we as a family celebrate
Okay.
my daughter-in-law
Okay,
at
baby.
Arlington
Okay.
National Cemetery
Bye.
because she is in the
Okay,
ground.
bye.
Her story isn't unique to our family, she's just ours. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of wounded veterans who came home from that war, who
No
need our
doubt.
help and who are ignored by our current
True
administration.
that. True
President
that.
Trump
Yeah.
demonstrates peace through strength. I know what he told the Taliban when he was negotiating with them because
Okay,
I've made
no
it my
doubt. No
business to
doubt.
know. And what he
Okay.
said to them when he was negotiating with the Taliban, he said, I will kill you if you harm one hair on one head of an American.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
President Trump shows up, he reaches out, and he can fix our country, and we can all heal together.
Thank you very much. So sad. So many cases like this. Nobody should have died. First of all, when they left, the soldiers should have been there. They shouldn't have been home watching, except for a small group, and many of them got killed, and large numbers. Nobody ever mentions the arms, the legs missing, gone, the face just obliterated. Nobody talks about them. I talk about them all the time. But I want to thank you, Christy, and we'll carry Nicole's memory in our hearts forever. The full consequences of Kamala's 4-year reign are almost too terrible to discuss or contemplate. We're coming to the end of a great campaign. I think we've had a great campaign.
Okay. I do too, Big Daddy. I do too.
We've
Yeah.
really not been provided the kind of protection that I needed as president, but I said we have to do it anyway. When
I
Secret
agree with
Service
that.
would ask for additional people, oftentimes.
Let's think about this. Trump has had two assassination attempts that we know about. That is crazy. I don't know what you think, but I think that's crazy.
get hit actually, but they were right there. You take a look at the video. One thing we would say, the video is there for people to see, but they were never given the kind of help that they requested because our rallies were massively large and they needed more people, and they were always fighting for more people, and it was never given to them. Now they're being given, I hope, what they need, but we were, that was a constant fight. They'd come to me and they'd say, you guys don't want to give us the people. And yet Biden was covered and they'd have like two people show up. But Kamala is grossly incompetent, a
True.
total train wreck who has destroyed everything in her path. She's destroyed
No
everything.
doubt. No doubt.
She left 21 million aliens pour across our country, and then she, maybe in
Yes.
a short while, has to go home.
21 million. That's not a small number. Like sometimes I think with people, with human beings, like we hear a number, and because it is not like actualized, like right in front of our face, like we can't see it in front of our face. Oh, that's no big deal. It's just 21. No, 21 million. So in computer world, computer land, that would be megabytes. And back in the day, megabytes were a lot. Now we've moved on to gigabytes and gigabytes, terabytes, and petabytes, and whatever's beyond that. Right? It's a lot. 21 million people is a lot. Although there are supposedly 350 million people in America, that's a lot. Let's continue with the Trumpster.
Destruction and even financial destruction of our country itself. We could end up in a depression because of what she's left with us. They are the worst combination president, vice president in the history of our country. And I often say Jimmy Carter's a happy man because his administration, by comparison, was totally brilliant. It was brilliant. After Kamala endorsed defunding the police, she bailed out rioters, looters, and murderers, took them right out of jail during the violent crimes in the United States. Remember, that was in Minnesota. Minneapolis was burning down. It was burning to the ground. I watched the CNN announcer say, "This is a friendly group of people." And over his shoulder, the entire skyline was burning. I've never seen it,
Oh,
but that's the fake news. But violent crime in the United States is up 37%. All of these different crimes are up anywhere from 37 to 105%.
I gotta keep it real. I like that Trump called it fake news. Because just because they're in a broadcast room and they are news reporters or they are working for the news, that does not mean what they're saying is true or real. And Trump, in my opinion, was the first one to call it out. And you know what? I started going to alternative news even before he said this term because I was like, what is really real? But when Trump said this term, I said, Trump knows what I'm talking about. Fake news. Let's go. And the fake news wants a narrative that most of the time is not true. Let's continue.
And on issue after issue, she broke it. They broke it together. But for purposes of this election, she broke it. Can't let her go. And I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to fix it very fast.
Wow.
And on the illegal, thank you very much. Thank you very much. On the illegal immigrants that will be taken out of the country, as you know, we're going to be taking them out. And if they come back, we have laws that will be immediately enacted where they serve 10 years in prison. They won't come back. And if that's not long enough, we'll have to do something else. But we don't want them back. They're not going to come back. And as you know, we're asking for the death penalty for any migrant who comes into our country and kills an American citizen or a
Ooh,
police or law enforcement person,
ooh.
because we have to protect our police. Our police are under siege also at numbers that nobody thought were possible, the worst they've ever
No
seen. It's very
doubt,
hard
no
to
doubt.
recruit. And really, for not just the danger, it's hard to recruit because they don't have the spirit anymore for our country because they're being led with people that are spiritless. They really are spiritless. They can't instill spirit. But so that's any citizen they get killed, it's a death penalty, and that includes police or law enforcement officers. But we're going to revive our economy. We're going to use a system of very fair, very reasonable tariffs. As I said, so powerful. We never used them. I used them. China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars, and no other president's gotten 10 cents from China. China had a free ride, but so did many other countries. European Union is taking advantage of us. They don't take our product, and yet we take their product all over the place. We take their farming product. We take their
So now you can say that Trump is racist, but he's talking about the European Union not taking our product and we take their product. I would offer Trump is not racist. He's a man of business and he wants the country where he lives to do well and be a leader. Now, I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter. I'm just saying I like what he is saying. Let's continue.
done to take advantage of the United States. So we know how to take advantage of them. We're going to take it back. We're going to take it all back. Those countries, many of many of those companies will be coming back. They'll be coming back because when they're told that they're going to have to pay a 25% tariff or a 50% or 100%.
Okay, no
We
doubt, no
saved our
doubt.
steel industry when I imposed large tariffs on China steel coming in. They were dumping steel here by millions and millions and millions of yards of steel like
Okay, no
nobody's ever
doubt.
seen. Our steel businesses were going out of business. We can't lose our steel industry. If for no other reason, our own security. We need steel. If we go to war, we're not going to go to war. We're not going to have World War III. But if we ever go to war, you better hope that we have a steel industry, or those beautiful tanks and everything else that we need to make won't be made. The planes, the tanks, the whole
He said those beautiful tanks. Ooh. I'm gonna rock with you, Trump. Let's go.
been closed if I didn't do what I did. And we happen to be taking in, billions of dollars. In fact, it's so good that Biden has been trying his best to end it, but he's unable to do it. Too much money. It's been too much money. They're paying a fortune. But I would have had it a lot different. And we'll get along with China. We'll get along with Russia. We'll get along with everybody. We had the fake Russia hoax, which took 2 years. And then they came out with a report that we did absolutely nothing wrong. That was a stacked deck too. The people doing it, they couldn't say there was nothing. We had nothing. They checked millions of phone calls, not one call made to Russia, not one call. It was a terrible thing they did to the country and actually put us in a lot of danger, to be honest with you. I
No
didn't have
doubt.
somewhat of a relationship with Russia and Putin and all. We had to have it. And by the way, getting along with President Xi and Putin and Kim Jong Un of North Korea. If you remember when I met with Obama, his wife was very nasty to me the other day. Oh, that was
Yes,
not
she
nice. She
was.
was very
Very
nasty. She said
nasty.
nasty things. I was
Very.
always, I was always very, always very respectful of her. But she got up there, which shows you how nervous they are about what's happening. But she was nasty 2 days ago. She got up and said
Yes.
some bad things she shouldn't have said. They were wrong too. But we're going to turn our country around,
That was inappropriate, Michelle. I don't like that. I didn't like
and
it.
we're going to pay a lot of respect to the three representatives, because that's what they are. They're representatives of millions of people. I mean, the businesses, so many
No
businesses
doubt.
are just dying right now. Millions and millions of
American
people. They're
people are dying,
representative of,
Trump.
and our wounded and our hurt soldiers. We have to take care of them. They came back from Afghanistan. Boy, nobody talks about it. They just don't talk about it. But I talk about them, and we're going to take care of them. We had the greatest success with the VA, the Veterans Administration. We had a 92% approval rating. We got it so they had choice because they were waiting 4, 5, 6. They were waiting 4 or 5, 6 months, 7 months to see a doctor. And I came in and I got, with the help of some of the great Congress people that are here, we have some great ones. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We've got quite a few of them. And I didn't even tell them to be here. They want to be here because they know exactly. Oh, yes, very good. We have one of the greats. But they wanted to be here. A lot of people wanted. I didn't tell anybody to be here, actually, but they wanted to be. But we have to take care of our military. Think of this. Soldiers who are waiting 6 months to see a doctor. Can you imagine yourself? You don't feel good. You could be cured with a pill or with a shot or with something very minor, like a minor operation. And after 6 months, you're now terminally ill. So I made it. And they've been trying to do this for 48 years. I made it. We call it choice, like school choice, which is also a very good thing, by the way. But we call it choice, where you have your choice. You go to a doctor. If you have to wait more than one day, you go outside, you get a doctor, you get yourself fixed up, and we pay the bill. And it's been unbelievable. I heard just the other day for the first time that Kamala and Biden are trying to destroy that. They're trying to make it so that you have to wait for 6 months again, back to where it was. We had a 92% approval rating. And now, if they go back to that, you were going to have. I did another thing you weren't able to get because of civil service. You weren't able to get fire people. If somebody was a degenerate, if somebody was terrible, if they treated our heroes badly, we want them fired. We want them fired immediately.
Okay, no
But we
doubt.
were unable to get them fired
No doubt.
because they were protected by unions and by civil service. And
True,
I had
true
it
that.
passed in Congress, which people have also been trying to get.
But I'm
And
trying
we
to
were
get
able
to
to
them
fire
reparations, Trump. Let's
9,000
go.
people out of the
You can
VA
do it.
and replace them with people that love our heroes as opposed to.
I'm trying to get Trump to get to the reparations, and here's why. Because black people, we have had a rough time in this country for a very, very long time. If you don't know about it, then you can just check your history, study, do the knowledge on that, right? But Trump is radical enough that he can get things done. Okay. And Trump, if you can pull that off for black people in America, if you can rock with black men in America, we are rocking with you and your people forever. Okay? Holler at us.
They won't take care of our soldiers. They won't take care of our elderly. They won't take care of anybody, but they give every time certain people come to town, they walk away with $100 billion for countries that many people have never even heard of. So I just want to tell you, this is a campaign that's been long and hard. I've been on the road or campaigning for 58 straight days. I haven't taken a day off. Proud of that.
Hey, Big Daddy trying to get it, folk, and he got it. And you know what I will say? Trump literally won 3 times in a row. And if anyone wants to dispute that, come holler at me and I will just put your nose into the facts. Okay? He won 3 times in a row. And he has been better and realer than any other president that I've ever been alive to witness. Okay? So, Trump, I'd like to thank you. Let's go.
They're going to do because they're allowing millions of these people to go onto Social Security, Medicare. They're going to destroy it. She's going to destroy the whole country
No
because
doubt.
it's not sustainable
Yes,
by any country. But the ads and the statements that
Kamala or Kamala is a crafty dirt box, and Biden too. I don't like them. Let's continue.
lower taxes, and she's raising taxes by 30, 40, and 50%.
Sure is.
Commercial. And I just say this because I hope people understand. These people lie. They lie. They're very disingenuous. And we are going to finish up our campaign. And it's interesting because I haven't taken any time off for a long time. I tell you who can tell you about that, all the people that follow us, including the people in the campaign, but including Secret Service, who has been working very, very hard. I will tell you, they've really been working very hard. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Such great spirit. I want to start by saying it's going very well. There are some bad spots in Pennsylvania where some serious things have been caught or in the process of being caught, but the election itself is going very well. We're leading, I believe, in all 7 swing states. So I appreciate everybody's work, and the spirit is unbelievable. I don't think there's ever been anything like it in our country's history, frankly, because we want to see our country get better. And that's why we're here, just to do a statement. And it's an honor to have some of our friends here. In less than 4 years, Kamala Harris has obliterated our borders, obliterated. We've never had a situation like this. Decimated the middle class, and runaway inflation has caused problems, the likes of which we never thought possible. Bloodshed, squalor to our cities is common, and they've unleashed a war.